passed the climate and ecological emergency, and yet they haven't reviewed all the existing stuff that's going on.
They're going to remove all these trees and put a block there. I mean, it's just barking mad. We lost 17 trees when they messed around with Highbury Corner and put 4 lanes here instead of 2.
I've known Paul for years, and he came up to see me just because he likes to visit Norfolk. He came up to visit and basically asked about some work that was going to go on in London. So we're going to cut some trees down and stuff, and he wanted to know, would I be interested in sculpting them? Well, I said to him, you should really ask the locals first. You know, find your local people and check with your local artists and stuff and see whether anyone there would like to do it before you ask me. You know, yes, I could do it for you, but I live all the way up here and it's a long way to go. You know, so he asked about it, but he couldn't find anybody with any great ideas of what to do with it. So I drew up some ideas for him, and he looked at them, and initially he liked the idea of having some nature thing with animals and stuff coming out of a tree. That was the first idea. But then he saw one of my sculptures in the house there of one of the big heads that I've done, and he said, oh, could I do one of them? And I'm like, yeah, I could do one of them. And then he like said, well, there's 8 trees being cut down. Would you like to do all 8 of them? And I'm like, well, I suppose I could, but you'll have to bring me the trees, because I can't come down to London and do it down there. You'll have to bring them up here, and if you can do that, I can do the sculpture. And after many months of toing and froing with builders and everybody else and the whole project getting underway, eventually trees arrived in my drive. So I was obliged to actually do the sculpturing then.
A lot of people say these are Easter Island heads. Yeah. Which you know, as far as I'm concerned, it's anybody's interpretation of what they feel about it. Personally, to me, this is like the spirit of the trees. When you have a face that looks at you can relate to it easier. You know, you can find a connection. You know, a lot of people disconnect themselves from nature. They see a tree. They don't see the life behind the tree.
When they developed the actual building site in the front, they had to cut down 7 trees. So we decided that we wanted to keep the trees, or you know, as much of the trees as we could salvage, the tree trunks, and make some kind of feature with them, either sculpture or something like a bug hotel, which, you know, could just be the tree trunks, or even seating.
Say it's a mess. I understand it's a lack of communication between Islington Council and Transport for London, where Transport for London were thinking about improving the roundabout, so-called improvement, and doing something with Highbury and Islington Station. And that was supposed to be a consultation with Islington Council to make sure that it benefited the community.
Because now as it stands, it is not, it's so representative of the human concrete jungle on a concrete block. Yeah, if you had it on the ground with vines going around it and kind of integrate itself into the natural environment, then it would have sent a different message to everyone passing by. And look around, I mean, we're one of the most polluted roads and crossroads in London. We're here at Highbury Corner. There's fumes all the time.
To me, John has done me proud here. I've known the boy since we were little kids. He's always waddled and twiddled and made stuff. Yeah. So I thought it was the ideal person to come along and put a face on nature. Yeah. And hopefully, people say Easter Island heads, some say Osmic. Yeah. I think it's whatever your interpretation of these are. As far as I think, It's all about the spirit of nature. The trees that were culled, they've given a new life. They've given a new lease of life. When you can see a place, it's not just a tree. It becomes more personal. You kind of get it more, and hopefully these will last for a long, long time.
Appalling. I mean, those were living trees once upon a time, and I think they are mocking. I think they are somebody's vanity project. They're not Banksy. They don't make you smile. You can't see, oh, that's, telling a story of the people that live here. To me, it says, we took down the trees, we've stripped them of their bark, we've stripped them of any opportunity of even creating, habitat for smaller creatures, and here they are, just mocking and disturbing.
Now there's so much traffic, so many cars passing all the time. So how would it make sense for you to create so much more condensed pollution in an area, and then on the other side cut down the healthy trees that are meant to clean the air? So there is an irony in the decision making of the council, and there's also an irony in them deciding to create these statues representing death and destruction rather than life.
All I know is that when I've been down there, people are very impressed about what it is that's been done. They like the work and like the overall idea of the thing of taking those same trees, carving them and putting them back, not exactly where they were, but in the same garden they were in the first place.